Hello everyone, welcome to May's crystal reading. So I've already selected the crystals and they are interesting. We've got blue Hemimorphite, Charoite, and Naturalite. And the reason I say this is interesting is right off the bat, looking at these crystals, we've got stones that resonate with the higher energy centers, higher frequencies that help to clear the energetic body, as well as activate psychic abilities and psychic senses, particularly clairaudience and clairvoyance, as well as claircognizance. That hemimorphite is very soothing emotionally. Charoite is excellent for deep healing, both emotionally and physically, as well as for the etheric body or the aura. It's also excellent for courage in times of challenge or emotional hardship. And then we've got Naturalite, which also helps us to connect with our higher selves, to connect with higher wisdom, higher guidance, but also helps to lift us up to a place of higher perspective. And so looking at these stones and sort of the energy frequencies I've been feeling from the month of May, there could be that there's a lot of fear that may come up in this month. A need for us to really engage with our spiritual selves and to ground our spiritual selves in our physical, everyday reality, and to move forward with courage and grace. So I'm going to begin the channeling now. I'm first going to begin with the Hemimorphite. So it's saying that month, May is a month of challenge. It is a month of change. It's a month of revelations. Certain illusions are going to be cleared so that we can see things more clearly. For some, it may be a month of hardship, but what it's saying is that it's transitory. It's transitory. This is a turning point, and it's also reminding me that we have an eclipse coming up at the end of the month. We've got some interesting, for those of you who follow astrology, there's some interesting astrology alignments for this month. So there's a lot that's kind of being brought up to the surface, sort of in a heightened state. But it's a turning point, meaning that from here, from this month, we shift, and the words that are coming through as we start to reclaim, we start to rebuild, we start to prosper, we start to move forward again in greater levels of empowerment. Definitely our faith is important, but especially, I'm feeling a lot of energy build here in the throat chakra, and there's a lot to do with that energy in terms of listening. Really, really, if ever there was a month where you could set for yourself maybe a 21-day goal of every day, I'm just going to deeply listen to how I feel and the truth of how I feel. I'm going to deeply listen to my intuition. And I'm going to deeply listen for those of you who work with guides, higher guides, spirit guides, transdimensional guides. I'm going to really deeply listen to my guidance, and I'm going to trust, and I'm going to have faith, because what I'm seeing is this frequency. It's a nice big bold frequency of energy going along the timeline of this month that will support us in flow. Now that requires surrender. But surrender is not surrendering your sovereignty. And this is very important. And I think that's a message that may come through one of the other stones today. This is not about surrendering your sovereignty. This is not about surrendering your power. This is about surrendering to your sovereignty, surrendering to your power. I'm getting massive chills here. Surrendering to your intuition, which means that we start to let go of all that conditioned, all that limited thinking, all the shoulds, and listening to all the crap and the noise that's going on outside and around of us on the media and whatever else. So many people are confused. So many people don't know who to trust. And you know what the message is that's coming through Hemimorphite? Trust your soul. Trust yourself. Trust what you hear and feel as truth within you. Because we are not fools. We are not sheeple. We do not just need to blindly listen to or follow whatever is happening outside of ourselves. And that includes our soul selves in terms of fear. And this word in terms of prospering, in terms of thriving. We used to have a really kind of, 80s decade definition of what that meant, in terms of the yacht and the bling and the whatever. But there's a new level of prospering that is very soul-based, a new level of thriving that is very soul-based. And this doesn't mean that you have to be doing spiritual work for a living or anything. It's not about that. You can be someone who works the most analytical job in the world and still be completely aligned with your heart and soul and be soul-based. And so there's a prospering that is coming through engaging with our spiritual selves, honoring our spiritual selves, allowing our spiritual path to be the path that we walk in whichever ways that guide us. So the more that those of you who are willing will allow yourselves to just sink down, surrender resistances, surrender fear that wants to control and guide you. And I'm not talking about anything in particular, right? Because this is not contextual per se. This is guidance to fit within the context of your world, your life, what you are facing. So for some of you, you may be, thinking, not listening to outer authority. That may or may not be the thing. It could also just be, those fears, those worries, those doubtful or negative messages in your head, okay, that keep confusing you or holding you back. So take it in a way that it resonates for truth for your soul, if it does resonate as truth for your soul. Now I'm coming to Charoite, which I know is going to be a very different vibe. Well, I just felt my third eye pop. Charoite is reminding us too that it's very good for clearing certain energy blockages in the system that are holding us back from listening to our intuition, and in particular fear blocks. So for those of you who are like, I wish I could hear my intuition more, but you probably are hearing it, but then you're afraid to follow it because maybe it goes against the grain, maybe it goes against what your brain is telling you, maybe it's something like completely wild and sort of out there and different, and you're afraid, or it's the mind comes in and censors right away and creates doubt. Charoite is wonderful energy medicine, wonderful crystal medicine for helping you to start to move through and clear those blocks and really kind of ground the spiritual self and the intuition in your everyday life. What it's showing me is it's showing me the possibility of people being in their greater sovereignty, people being more open to their spiritual selves, spiritual care, spiritual experience, spiritual medicine, on a soul level, being more open to that, being more ready to listen to their intuition. This is what guides us through in the best possible way, because it's reminding us that our soul is there to serve us in our, not to serve us in our greatness, but to serve us in our greatness, to serve us in our greatness, to help guide us on that path, to help guide us through in the best possible way. It's that which evokes the voice and the sounds and the messages of our intuition. So our soul, which of course is not separate from ourselves, but just to speak of it sort of in this way, it's here to help provide the best possible experience for us. But of course, part of the experience of learning and of life is learning to really come into alignment with the soul and really being in that place where your choices, your decisions, your actions, your feelings, come from this place of alignment, so that the path for you is more nurtured, the path for you is more supported. Of course, you're still going to experience challenges. But again, there's this thing about really, really, really coming into alignment, and there's a practice, just a simple practice every day. And I know the crystals come up with practices a lot, but we need ways to practically, embody, when we're receiving guidance, it can all just stay up here and not filter down into our lived experience. So practices, routines, rituals are what help us to embody our spiritual selves, to come into that place of alignment, to make it real for ourselves. So again, a simple practice, and it's saying, to in the morning, just take a couple minutes, just a few moments, even a few breaths, where you can just become completely centered, still, quiet, and drop down into your center. And imagine grounding into your center. So many grounding teachings, it's about grounding down into the earth. This is saying to ground into your center, to ground into your soul. And then periodically throughout the day, maybe you set an alarm or a reminder on your phone, whatever it may be, to just take just a few moments to breathe, to come back down and center. Check in with yourself. See how you are feeling. See if there is something you need in this moment. Because again, if we go with the analogy of, let's say, a storm out at sea, and a boat, in that storm, how a boat best navigates through that storm is remaining calm, remaining centered on the route, okay, and balancing, just coming back into that place of balance, which is motion, as it moves through, okay? Not going crazy, not, diving into the waves and whatever else, but it takes a very steady hand and one that is in a place of listening to guide through. And so this is the message that Charoite is bringing. And I mean, this may sound like really heavy, we've already been through so much heaviness, but again, it's saying take heart. Have courage. For those of us who stay in alignment, who are willing to surrender into our sovereignty and fully trust, it does create more ease, because resistance, fear, indecision, vagueness, denial, angry, emotional shitstorms, right? They all create tension. They create blockage. They create challenges and obstacles on the path that don't need to be there, and they make things more difficult. So it's asking all of us to please, let's make things very simple for us and ground down and center. We cannot control the madness, that's happening around us, but we can control ourselves. And when we are in surrender to our sovereignty, when we are in a place of aligned mastery, which is a daily practice, and it is simple, and you do not need to be a guru on a mountaintop to do it. You do not need to have a simple and quiet life to do it. When we are willing to be, in that space, we do help shine the light forward and walk the path and guide ourselves through in a better way. And this is what positively affects our reality. All of a sudden, we're shifting how our frequencies are going out onto our timeline, instead of going out in sort of a chaotic way, going out in a way that is harmonized, in a way that is alignment, in a way that is smooth and clean and moving forward. So our spirituality is really key. And so now tuning into the natural light, and again, this is going to be a different vibe. Woo! Whew, there it goes. There it goes. Nice, beautiful broadband of light. And it's like, okay, let's collect all of this in now. Let's collect all of this in and let's harmonize. And receive some healing energy and receive some healing light. And it's reminding how important that is. It's reminding how important rest is. It's reminding how important it is to come back to the light, because that is what raises us up. It helps us with our faith. It helps us to have greater foresight, and it helps us to come into a place of trust that not only are things going to be okay, things are going to get better. And that's where, and I just got chills again. That's where the reading is coming from. So many of us are collectively holding that vision of things getting better for us individually, things getting better for us collectively. For some people, they're already doing great, right? They're already thriving, and maybe it's because they were able to adapt and pivot. Maybe it's because they were just already in a situation where things were good. But overall, the feeling of the world, and empaths can feel this for sure, that heaviness, that tension, that fear, that holding. There's almost like a fear of seeing, oh God, what's coming next, and that holding, that constraint. It's encouraging us to come into a place just even of physical relaxation, allowing healing chi and energy to flow more smoothly through our bodies. So again, if you can find that moment to just quiet, tune in, stillness, listen, come into alignment, center with the breath, and encourage your body to relax and remind yourself, I am in the flow. I am in the flow of light. I am in the flow of the universe. I am provided for. I am in grace because that is my divine right. And coming back into that place, it creates a 180 energy shift. So for those of you who feel like you need that, or at any point in time this month when you get knocked, we're having powerful moons. That knocks a lot of us on our butts, right? Spiritual people, sensitive people. We have that Scorpio moon. That was a doozy. We've got the next new moon coming up soon, and as I said, the eclipses. But it's kind of like when you are in this place of centered light, you can observe all of this around you, and you can choose what is happening for your highest and what is not. But that takes a place of discernment. That takes a place of buffer zone. So for those of you who have a meditation practice or feel drawn to developing a meditation practice, again, just even a simple meditation practice where you sit, and after you've come into alignment and breathe down, imagine light coming down and filling you, filling your aura. Imagine light coming up from the earth, filling you, filling your aura, and coming into that space. Because again, we cannot control what's happening around us, but we can be in our sovereignty. We can decide what we are co-creating. So the big question it's asking you to consider for yourself this month is, where is my energy going? What is it going into? What am I potentially creating with my thoughts or feelings? How can I come into a place where I feel loving, where I feel optimistic, no matter what is going on around there? Because if I can at least come into these feelings, it brings a sense of peace inside of me. It brings a sense of harmony. It brings a sense of cohesion. And so within, so without. I am the generator. I am the generator of the energy of my life, on my path of mastery, in my life that I'm creating for myself. I am the generator. So what am I generating? What am I putting out there with my energy? And how can I make the most loving, positive choices in terms of energy for myself? So this isn't a place for judgment or shame or, oh my God, I was just a crazy hot mess for a half hour. Who cares? You're here right now. What energy are you generating for your life experience right now? You are the generator. You have sovereignty, and you have intuition and spirit that can hear you. If you listen to them, they can help you and guide you on your path as things get better, because there's light at the end of the tunnel. So that's the reading. I hope that was of service to you. I needed some of that too, as always, holographic universe. So I'm grateful to you listening. For those of you who are interested in learning how to do crystal readings, I do have my Pro Crystal Reader certification course that's available in the Crystalline Academy. And my mediumship program will be opening up again this fall. And certainly you can check out more videos on my channel here, or the free resources that I have on my blog. I write crystal healing articles every week to be of service to people. So listen to yourselves, trust yourselves, honor your sovereignty, Know that you're not alone. We're in community. And if there's anything that you'd like to ask or share, please do so in the comments. And I will be back with more crystal videos this month to help support and provide soul nourishment. So thank you and blessings to you.